Enjoy the ride with Crystal Petry, consulting, so inspiring.
Hello, I'm Crystal Petry, and welcome to another episode of 60 Minutes With. Today is the day for you on this podcast. If you have children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, or even you yourself want to go to college or go back to college, my guest is going to teach you and me how to go to college for free. You heard me, free. Yes. So without any ado, welcome to the podcast, Ms. Lisa Forney. How are you?
I am doing very well. Thank you so much for coming today.
Yes.
I'm so excited to share this information with your audience.
You know what? I had no idea, and I'm sure my audience has no idea, that you can go to college for free.
Absolutely.
Because in my mind and what I hear and what I read, college is just another big business.
And it is.
Yes.
And the sooner you understand that, the better it will be for you in navigating that business.
Okay. So, sounds like a general question or an easy question. What are college scholarships?
Okay, college scholarships are a way to pay for college, and you do not have to pay it back like a loan.
Okay.
Okay, that's the difference between a loan and scholarships for college. But did you know that you can get scholarships for private high school? You can get scholarships for additional certificates once you've gotten your college degree, or certificates that you want to expand your business. There are scholarships available not just for college, but for just about every facet of life. But today, we definitely want to focus on the scholarships for college.
Yes. Okay, so who are eligible for these college scholarships?
Anybody is eligible for college scholarships. Did you know that you can start applying for scholarships at the age of 4?
4 years old?
4 years old.
Isn't that too young?
No, it's not. If I would have known that my personal child could have been applying for scholarships that she could later use to go to college, we would have started when she was 4 years old. But I did not know it at that time.
Okay.
That there were opportunities. So we began at the end of her 8th grade year, the summer before she went into high school. We began our scholarship journey.
Okay. Are scholarships hard to get? I feel like, and I have not gone down this journey, I feel like they're hard to get. That's why people don't go after them, or as many people don't go after them.
Well, it's not hard to get. There are a lot of scholarships out there. You can apply for scholarships year-round. Scholarships are free, but they're not free. You have to work.
Okay.
I liken it to you have to make it a part-time job. Scholarship hunting is not a sprint. It is a marathon. There are seasons to applying for scholarships. So, is it hard? Yes, to a certain extent. But when you get yourself organized and you begin to research different types of organizations in organizing your scholarship portfolio, then it's a little bit easier to be able to apply at a steady rate for scholarships.
Explain to us what is a scholarship portfolio.
Okay, so there are commonly asked parts of a scholarship application. So in the years that we have been supporting our daughter to apply for scholarships, what I began to see was there were repetitiveness of what the scholarships were requiring. So I talked with my daughter that every time a scholarship would ask for something, we would stop and get it together, right? So a scholarship portfolio, it is all of the components that scholarship applications traditionally ask for. For example, We know that they're going to ask for awards and honors. And the reason that scholarship applications and committees want to know what have you been awarded, they want to know what has someone recognized as a strength and a passion that they were able to give you an award for it, right? So go ahead, take out all those scrapbooks, the folders, the certificates, all those posts that you put on social media, and put it on a document, a list of your child's awards. So I would say begin with freshman year, sophomore year, junior year.
Of high school.
But we have a document in our daughter's portfolio that starts from when she was 4. Right? And so as your child is awarded awards, acknowledgments, or featured in news articles or anywhere, at your church, anywhere, at school, organizations, document that, because scholarships are going to want to know, what have you been recognized for? What have you been acknowledged? Because a scholarship committee says if they've been acknowledged for their passion and strength by other organizations, then we're betting on a winner. And scholarship organizations want to bet on winners, right? Okay, so awards and honors is a part of your portfolio.
Okay.
Another part of your portfolio is community service. Organizations want to know, are you concerned about your community? And where is that documented? Right? So you definitely want to put a list of your organizations that you have supported and community networks. If you've worked with your church in community service, your school, maybe your job, or you've created your own community service academy, right? Then you want to be able to document that. Some scholarship organizations want you to upload documentation of your community service. So every time you go out and you are involved in community service, make sure you get someone who is executing and leading that event, that they sign what you did, what was the date, how many hours did you invest, and then upload that into your portfolio. So when you come across a scholarship that requires documentation, there is no delay in you being able to submit, all right? So you have awards and honors, you have community service. Next, extracurricular activities. What are you doing in your free time, right? And we hope that what you're doing in your free time is not only building you as a leader, but we hope that what you're doing in your free time is impacting your community, right? So list out all of the community extracurricular activities. If you're in basketball, theater, if you're an usher at your church, if you're in organizations, clubs. And the thing that I want to say about extracurricular, it is not about the number of organizations that you're involved. It is how involved and the depth of your engagement. So my recommendation there is that you join a club or an organization that is in alignment with your core values and your beliefs. Then you go ahead and serve as a leadership for that organization. So it's not about I'm in 50,000 clubs. It's about that you are intentional in the work that you're doing. You're able to show a longitudinal investment. So if you've been playing basketball for 10 years, that says that you are invested. You have a lot of grit. Mm-hmm. You're not going and hopping from one thing to the next.
You're stable.
You're passionate about what you're involved in, mm-hmm. right? All right. So documenting that, leadership is important. And if you see something in that extracurricular area that is not happening, then create it yourself, because that shows that you're a leader. Okay? So we have community service, awards and honors, and we have the extracurricular. Okay. The next piece of your portfolio is that personal statement, right? Also, that's right in alignment with what college applications ask for too.
Your personal statement, is that like your mission, vision
Well,
statement?
Your personal statement, you're talking about your goals, what you wanted, your career aspirations, your hobbies, what have been some of your acknowledgments. It's kind of like a personal statement about what you want to be, how you're going to get there, and what you're doing to get there.
Okay.
All right? Most of the time they want that to be 250 words to 500 words, that personal statement. Okay? Or some people might say it's a bio.
Okay.
So you want to write it in first person and third person, because they also use that part of your portfolio. When you win, they want you to send a third person bio so that they can post it on their social media.
Yes.
Right? So go ahead and have that crafted.
Yeah.
Because you get to be the editor of the author of that story.
Right.
Because it's about you. Okay. So that personal statement is a part of it. The resume. Resume is a part of your scholarship portfolio.
How does a high school student have a resume?
Okay.
Because when I think of resume, I'm thinking of job experience. You've been here, you've been there.
Yes. So most scholarship applications only require you to upload a one-page resume. Okay? So the one-page resume, you want to put on there what your GPA is, what your career goals are.
Do they want your GPA as of that day, or like as a high school graduate?
As a high school graduate. If you're that day.
Okay.
And it depends on where you are. So if you're a senior applying, you put the most recent. Okay? But in junior high, with that resume, you wouldn't put GPA. Okay? But we're talking about 9th grade through 12th grade resume, and then we'll talk about the resume for the K-8 in a minute. Okay? So for the high school 9th through 12th graders who are applying for scholarships, you'll put, your GPA, your high school's name, if you have any specializations or trainings or certificates, if you are a lifeguard, if you have gotten CPR certified, if you have any type of certifications. You want to put your leadership roles. You want to put your community service roles. You want to put your organizations, and you want to put a few acknowledgments. And then you might want to put some of your attributes. You're a visionary. You're diligent. And you might want to also put some of your hobbies. And then you might, depending on if you have a great deal of community service, leadership. If you don't, you can also fill in a one-page resume with a quote about who you are. So if you're about service, if you're about advocacy, you can find a good quote to put it on your resume, right? And as you develop and as you get more acknowledgments, as you expand your leadership, as you continue to work in the community and you're able to put those efforts on there, then it can expand to 2 pages, right? But most scholarship applications that we've seen over the years, they only want you to upload a one-page resume.
I'm sure it's because they're getting so many, so they need to just the one. Now, Lisa, you have given us so much information off the bat on this podcast, and I love you for it. If people want to reach out to you, if they want you to help them on this scholarship journey, how can they do that? Okay,
so let me just tell you a little bit about how we started this thing.
Okay.
I am a retired public school administrator after 30 years, right? We have one personal daughter who has been extremely successful in applying for external scholarships. And we'll talk about, I hope we have time to talk about what I mean when I say external scholarships. So she is now a sophomore in college. By the time she left to go to college, she had acquired 51 grand in external scholarships. So no matter what school she decided to go to, all 51 grand was going to go with her, right? So a good friend of mine, because I have to tell the story of how we got here. So a good friend of mine that we grew up together, she called me because I would post congratulatory posts about the scholarships that my daughter wins. And of course, it's a way for me to say thank you to the organization, because usually I would repost their posts on their social media, acknowledging them investing in my personal child, right? So my good friend, we've been friends since we were 12, she called me and she said, if I see one more scholarship and you are not telling people, you're not telling us what you're doing. Because at first our daughter was winning locally.
Okay.
But when she began to win scholarships out of Washington, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Minnesota, you name it, she has, Pennsylvania, you name it, she has won a scholarship. So when she started winning scholarships all over, my friend said, I think you need to start telling people how you're doing that and help us. So I, of course I said, oh, I'm not ready to tell anybody anything. We don't know anything. We're still trying to figure this thing out. So now we're well over $100,000 for our personal daughter. And so I launched my business in January of 2023. And it's called Formula for Success. And I'm on YouTube, all the social media platforms. You can look me up. My website is out there, Formula for Success Group. You can schedule a 60-minute consultation. All the work that I do is virtually. So now a year later, I'm serving clients in 14 states. And our daughter continues to win. Her freshman year, she won 22 scholarships that paid for a freshman year. And this past sophomore year, she won 22 scholarships. So this sophomore year, her scholarships range from $50 to $5,000 and anywhere in between. So now we have already landed 6 scholarships that will be applied to her junior year. So our daughter did not get a full ride scholarship, but before it's over, she will have a full ride, 1 scholarship at a time. So if anyone needs some help, because when she started applying the summer of her 8th grade year. We did not win our first scholarship until her sophomore year in high school. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we did not know what we were doing.
That sounds like most people would give up. So you're working 2 years, I would assume, constantly. You don't win until she's a sophomore. That's a year, 2 years in. At this point, you're just thinking, this is not going to work.
Well, we didn't know what we're doing. And of course, life gets in the way. We're very busy. We have to figure out when we're going to work on scholarships. So we were very intentional because we were very busy. Everybody's busy. Extracurricular, church, work, basketball, everything you're doing, right? So Sundays, after we would eat, go to church, eat, take a nap. So that everybody can be on their best behavior.
Yes.
Then we will work about 2 hours on scholarship hunting. So what I do now and why I launched my business is to help support families who were in the same position that we were in, show them how to organize and share all of the tips and strategies that took us those years to learn and navigate and to try to understand. Now I'm sharing those strategies. Now, I do have to say this. A lot of people were telling me that there were no scholarships for the middle class or upper class families, right? That we were just going to have to pay because there is an idea out there, a misnomer truly, that there are no scholarships for the middle class. There are only scholarships for economically disadvantaged. That's true, too. There are scholarships for economically disadvantaged. There are scholarships for those who the FAFSA says that you can pay a certain amount. There are scholarships for every type of family. So I have been diligent in uncovering scholarships that have nothing to do with our income.
That was going to be one of my questions. So there are scholarships out there that is not based on income.
Absolutely.
Because everything that I've heard concerning scholarships, and I'm so glad you're on the podcast, Lisa, to debunk a lot of this information that I'm sure not just myself, but even my audience is aware of, that every scholarship is based on your income.
And there are scholarships that are catered to Pell Grant eligibility and according to a certain amount. Like there are scholarships where they want you to be low income, below $70,000 a year or 50 grand. The number, it vacillates depending on the organization. But there are also scholarships out there for that do not ask about your income. And so I have been 1,000% diligent in covering those types of scholarships. Every one of our daughters' wins have absolutely nothing to do with our finances.
Wow.
Now, another thing that I want to say, because everybody always wants to start with this when I tell them that our daughter has won over 100 grand in scholarships. Well, she must have knocked the top off of SAT, ACT. She must have graduated the top 5% of her class, and she must have made straight A's. And none of that is true. Matter of fact, my daughter, we have to pray and lay face down before the Lord every time it's time for her to take a test. You know? So test taking is not her strength. So I know that. I know my child. So we did not seek those types of scholarships. If your child does very well on those types of standardized testing, then you seek that type of scholarship. There are types of scholarships for every type of child, right? So I did not seek that as a Just Right scholarship for my child. Just Right scholarship means if they're in alignment with your child's passions, their strength, and their extracurricular. My child's strength is not standardized test taking. So we did not go for the presidential presidential scholar type of scholarship application. We would have been defeating the purpose if we would have went that route. Our daughter's Just Right scholarships is based off of what she likes to do and what she is very good at. And that is what and how I steer my clients. What is your child good at? So, for example, my personal child, she's very good at community service. She has her own nonprofit community service academy that she's had since she's 12. That is a Just Right type of scholarship that we're going to go for, community service. Entrepreneurship is another Just Right scholarship for her. She's had her own business since she was 9. So we knew that that was a strength that we could go after, right? And have good documentation to back up that that's a strength of hers, right? The other one is social advocacy. She is about, serving. That's what her whole community services organization is about, serving underserved communities in marginalized areas of concern. So we know that social advocacy type scholarships is a Just Right scholarship for her. Then another one that is a Just Right scholarship is caring for the elderly. That is something that's dear to her heart. So there are scholarships for students who have a passion for caring for the elderly. So if your child is in theater, then you want to look for those Just Right scholarships. If your child is a leader, there are scholarships that ask the question of, what does leadership mean to you? And if your child has been diligent in showing leadership throughout, their span of school, then that would be a good way for them to write a compelling, engaging essay because it's something that they are passionate about. It is truly a formula, right? It's truly a formula. So I have had parents call me, my child has a learning disability. My child has a disability. There are scholarships for children who have disabilities. We should not put caps and limits on what our children can do based off of what their circumstances are. There are scholarships for every child. And we're not going to limit any of them. So when somebody calls me and they want to talk about my child don't do this, you're talking to the wrong person. Because I can find you 5 scholarships that your child can apply for.
I'm blown away by you, Lisa.
Oh, yes, I can. And then I texted to him and I said, okay, now what?
I'm blown away.
Now what? Here is a scholarship for a child with learning disability. Here's a scholarship with a child with dyslexia. Here is a scholarship for a child who has ADHD. Here's a scholarship for a child who has an illness, a rare illness. Now what are we waiting on? It's about, now you asked me, was it hard to apply for scholarships?
Yes.
Well, the hard part comes because you have to find them. You have to be intentional in doing some research. And the way that I have learned how to cast my net deep and wide in finding scholarships, you can basically apply for a scholarship every day, 365 days.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what is an external scholarship?
External scholarship, a lot of people have this idea that you can't apply for scholarships until you know what school your child is going to.
Because that's the school that will accept the money.
And so that's one way that you get scholarships, right? Is that once you get accepted to a school, then they extend you a financial aid packet.
Correct.
But you don't know that until second semester senior year.
Which, now that I'm talking to you, seems entirely too late.
It is, but it's never too late. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So an external scholarship is not connected to a college. It is connected to an organization or a nonprofit or a government entity that has decided, or a memorial type scholarship, because they're honoring someone that has gone on. Those scholarships you can win before you even decide what you want your career to be and what college you've been accepted to. So external scholarships are our friend, because you can start applying for those at 4 years old.
And that money, external scholarships, can go to any college that you are accepted into.
Yes. So for example, when our daughter won her first scholarship, I have to tell you the story. We have been working, since the summer of 8th grade year, hadn't won anything. She won her first scholarship, and it was for $600. It was a regional scholarship. She was competing with Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Texas. Okay? It was for $600. She worked on that application for 2 hours. So basically, I said, you made $300 an hour.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so scholarship hunting became her job, because what I said to her was, where can you go and pass out lemonade out a window and get $300 an hour? And when you can do that, then you can go do that. But since you haven't been able to locate a job that will do that, your job is to write essays. Okay? So when she got that first scholarship, basically she worked on it for 2 hours. She won that. They sent us an award letter. So in that award letter, it tells you when you get registered in your school of choice and send us proof of registration. So there are a lot of different ways that they ask for proof of registration. But for a senior in high school, the one that they want is that acceptance letter from your college. Once you send that to them, then they will send it to the college financial aid or scholarship office.
Do they just hold the money? Because at this point your daughter's a sophomore, so they would just hold the money for 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
Until you're accepted into your college of choice.
These are scholarships where they have, they offer this type of scholarship year after year. Year after year. Year after year. Okay? Now, my daughter has been sent scholarship checks directly to the house. There have been a few that have done that. But of course, we rolled that right into her 529, her plan that we started when she was born, which we have not, basically hadn't had to really touch, because up to this point, our daughter's college education has been paid for solely by external scholarships.
Explain to us what a 529 is.
Now, 529 is not my area, that's my husband's, but I'll just give you a little snip of what he told me about it.
Okay.
Is that it is some type of, where we pay a certain amount of money per month into it, and it's kind of like an investment, and the money grows. Then when you have to pay for school expenses, you request the money, and then you send it to the school. That's the easiest way. My
Yes.
husband, he knows more about how much interest it's making, what all this is doing, because he set that up. But our plan is that we will not have to use that for much later, because our daughter is planning to go to medical school. But I am on the hunt for scholarships for medical school.
Already?
Yes, and let me tell you what that looks like. So there are two things I want to say about this. So when you start when your child is 4 years old, because there are competitions, you can help your child get their feet wet to begin getting into the idea that I can at this age support my dreams of going to school debt free. Having those conversations and having children understand that. So when you are, let's just take an 8th grader, and you see a scholarship that you can only apply for when you are a senior in high school. Parents, if they would take a minute to look at those applications, they can tailor-make the experiences from 8th grade to senior year so that their children can be a competitive applicant by just doing a little research.
Look at you.
Yes, and that's what I help to show parents how to do that, right? So I have already pegged 18 scholarships for medical school. So what I did was I went and looked to see who had won it in the past, because I want to know who and why, how did they get it, right? What was their resume? Then I wanted to see what are the questions that they are asking on these medical school applications. Then I call my daughter and say, you need to do this, and that this year. You need to do this, and that next year. And you need to do this, and that your senior year. So when it's time to apply for that type of scholarship, she has a competitive portfolio to be in the running for that type of scholarship, right? It's a formula. Wow. It is a formula for success. Oh. And when you figure that out and start seeing the reoccurring themes, then you begin to win scholarships. Because I still can't believe that our daughter won 22 scholarships that paid for her sophomore year. But I do believe it, but I don't believe it. And then right now, my clients from the 14 states that I am working with, right now, the number is climbing every day. We are collectively at $1.7 million in scholarships.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. I'm very excited about that.
Congratulations.
Very excited about that.
You have said that you can start looking for scholarships at 4 years old for your child. Is there a time where it's too late to start looking and applying for scholarships?
It's never too late, because there are seasons of scholarship hunting. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So right now we are in, let's just say it's 3 seasons. Let's just say right now we're in season 2. So season 2 starts from January to May. So everything that you apply for from January to May can be awarded to apply to your fall semester of college, right? That's season 2. Season 3 is June and July. It is the absolute most competitive season of ever, because that's where parents are trying to make their last ditch effort to win money to apply to the fall.
Should you wait until June, July?
Some people didn't get to it until then. Okay, then season number 1 is August to December. And that's where you are applying for scholarships to help support your spring semester. And some of those will be awarded in the fall, or some of them might be awarded in the summer. But they all can be applied to that next semester of school. So when you get into the rhythm of scholarship seasons, you are applying for scholarships year-round. So if you ask me, are we too late? Yes. No, you're not too late, because you can continue. Now, are you too late to acquire? Well, I'm going to say this. When I launched my business in January of 2023, I worked with seniors, second semester seniors. Now, a family out of Arkansas, they said, Lisa, just tell us what we need to do. We're going to do it. We don't have time to figure out nothing. They did it, and before their child left, and I met them in January of 2023, they had acquired $69,000 in external scholarship. Yes, they did.
No.
Because they understood that scholarship hunting is a family affair. I believe that scholarship hunting is a family affair. Every family has to work together. There has to be someone who is compiling the list of the awards. We do need to get back to the portfolio because I'm thinking that I only share with you 4 components. But there is one person in that house who is responsible for the organizational tools that you're going to use. There is one person who is responsible for finding the scholarships. Your child is responsible for being involved in all of those organizations that they're going to do, cultivating relationships so that she can get a letter of recommendation, writing the winning essays. That is that child's number one job, right? The organization tool, my job for my personal child is I find every scholarship that she applies for. And then I put it on a shared Google Calendar. Don't forget, because she works well, you have to determine what is your child's strength. My child works very well with a calendar, knowing that she has 17 days to get this done.
Okay.
She has 12 days to get this done. Or she has 2 months to get this done. Because the way we work now, she submits scholarships a month in advance. But we're way down, when our portfolio is done. There's not much that we can add more to our portfolio because it's so robust. We keep it up to date. And when you do that before your child leaves your home, because your portfolio is in a cloud storage, and you would appreciate that organizational tool when you just can't call for your child to come downstairs and work at the dining room table.
Yes.
So, and you show your child how to continue uploading components of their portfolio on their high dollar iPhone that we've paid for them.
Yes.
So let's use that iPhone to make some money or to pay for this college education.
So it's for more than just texting?
Oh yes, it is. So she knows how to upload into her Google Cloud storage folder that says community service, that says extracurricular, that says any update that she needs to make to her resume, right? How to do that. But the other winning part about establishing those types of systems of how you put together documents will also help your child with interviews for internships, will help them for applications for organizations, because they're asking pretty much the same thing that you have in your portfolio. Mm-hmm. So it has far-reaching implications. Of course, the main goal is to get and win and be awarded scholarships so that you will not graduate from college drowning in debt.
Okay, so let's get back to
Portfolio.
the portfolio. Yes.
So we talked about awards and honors, personal statement, or your bio. We talked about community service. We talked about extracurricular. We talked about resume. So the other piece is transcripts. So some organizations ask you to upload a transcript to their scholarship platform.
And by transcript, you mean?
Your high school transcript.
Okay.
Or your junior high transcript, what have you, wherever your grades are. So whatever your system is on your campus. So you might have to, like some of my clients, their system is that their principal has to sign it because it's not electronic, right?
Okay.
That's in another state. But in our state, you can work through your counselor, and then of course they have where you can pay a fee and it's electronically sent to an organization. Because there are 2 ways they ask for a transcript. An upload of an unofficial. So I recommend to my clients that you always keep the most up-to-date transcript. So in high school, most high schools are 9 weeks. So at the end of every 9 week, you need to request that, upload that into your portfolio. So when a scholarship committee asks for an unofficial transcript, you're not having to halt your submission because you're not ready for that one document.
And chase down whoever.
Especially if your campus, you have to get it signed by the principal, right? And there are 1,100 kids at your school. Or they're the principal for kindergarten through 12th grade. That's not at the top of their list. So make that a part of your habit at the end of whatever you're grading, whether it's 6 weeks or a 9-week grading period, or in college a semester. You request a transcript, and so that you can upload it into your portfolio. So when they ask for the unofficial, most up to date, you already have it. Then if they ask that the organization or the college or whatever the organization that the college or the school is using to submit electronic transcripts to an organization, then know what that process is, because it can be asked that way. They don't want the person who is submitting for the scholarship to upload it. They want the original. So, for example, our daughter's college uses a system called Parchment.
Okay.
And so you can get it electronically. The organization tells you the email that you need to submit on that electronic or that business's system, so that it can be sent directly to them, your hands not touching it.
So you definitely need to find out how they want the information
Well, I'm
sent.
telling you, those are the two
Those
ways.
are the only two ways.
Mhm.
So either electronically, unofficial,
Yes.
or an official signed by the principal.
Whatever your system is.
Okay.
So just be ready for that. But always have an electronic unofficial in your scholarship portfolio.
Okay.
Okay, so the next piece of your scholarship portfolio is your proof of registration. So this is for later on, for when you were awarded the scholarship.
Proof of registration for college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So for when you're a high schooler, the most common is that acceptance letter. Once you get registered into college, it can be anything. It can be a copy of your school ID. It could be a copy of your lease for your housing.
Because all of that is proof that you were...
Yes. So what I do is I made a whole list of all the ways these 60 plus organizations where our daughter has won a scholarship, because everybody's not asking for the same thing. I made a list, and at the beginning of every semester, my daughter screenshots that on that high dollar iPhone, and she uploads it by the year into her scholarship portfolio. So no matter what an organization asks for, if it is a copy of your class schedule for that semester, she already has that, because that's on that master list that I've put together for her. The most common that they ask for in college is a verification of enrollment. And most colleges, the registrar or whoever is in control of that on campus, you have to request that after the drop and add season of the semester. Okay. And then you'll be able to send that. But the beauty and the most important is being in contact with your scholarship, your awarding scholarship entity, letting them know, I am going, because most scholarship organizations only give you 3 to 5 days to respond with what they want. Okay? And if you do not respond within those 3 to 5 days, they give your scholarship to the next person. And I would burn this house down.
Lisa, listen.
We will be on the news for our son.
Listen.
So that is why I say, here's the list. Go ahead, once your child gets to college, because right now you have an award letter and you don't have any of these things because your child hasn't decided what college they're going to go to. But here's the list. And every time we see a scholarship organization ask for something different, I add it to the list. And my daughter sees that because that's in her
Shared
cloud storage.
Yes.
That we set that standard and expectation of organization before she went 817 miles away.
One of the things that I'm hearing you say about scholarships that I feel is the most important is, number one, you need to start accumulating this information now. Wherever you are in your scholarship hunting journey, start getting that information now. And number two, you have to be so organized.
Well, that's one of the beauties of one of the services that I offer if you decide to join our Formula for Success community, is that organization is a strength of mine. So I show my clients how to organize it down to the last piece of paper, right? One of my clients out of the Plano area, she said, Miss Lisa, when I organized the way that you told us to organize, it was like applying for scholarships on autopilot.
Is that the goal?
That is like that's the goal. Because the more scholarships you're able to apply for in a professional manner, that increases your chances of winning. I mean, it's math. I'm not a math person, I'm an English person. But I do understand the more you apply for and it's quality, robust, submission, professional, it increases your chance. My recommendation for any family that's just starting, you need to be applying for 5 scholarships a week. And it needs to increase every week.
That sounds like a lot.
It's not, once you have your scholarship portfolio in order, and you don't have to be stopping looking through emails. Where are the letter of recommendations? Oh, you need to go get letter of recommendations. I want to go back to letter of recommendations. You need to acquire 3 types of letters of recommendations. Please do not wait until second semester senior year to begin asking for letters of recommendation.
Then you got to go back and find this person.
Well, everybody is saturated second semester senior year because everybody's asking for letters of recommendations. So there are 3 types of letters of recommendations that I recommend. One of them is the academic. If your counselor at your high school or your junior high or your elementary does not know your name, you need to start cultivating that relationship now. Okay? You will need the counselor.
Okay.
Right? Especially senior year.
So letter of recommendation from the counselor, which is considered an academic.
Yes, and any of your teachers. And you can use a letter of recommendation from a teacher from kindergarten to senior year unless the application says high school teacher. So we have used letters of recommendations from kindergarten through our daughter's sophomore year.
Do those expire?
Well, what happens is when you meet with people and ask them to join your team, are you willing to join our team to help support our child because they are trying to graduate from college debt free? The bottom line is get people who want to see your children win. They're going to open up their emails. They know your child. And when you ask them to write a letter of recommendation for you, submit an accompaniment with that request, a copy of your resume so that they can embed things that you're doing, because a scholarship committee does not like a generic recommendation. They want to know, does this person know you? That's a better letter of recommendation. So when you are out there soliciting and trying to determine who will be on your team for the long haul, you want people who know your child and want to see your child win. And we can think through our children's educational career, who wanted to see our children win? And then you call and reach out to them. Okay? So, academic. I recommend you find 3 to 5 teachers, especially if you're going to be applying for scholarships at the steady rate that you need to be. Okay? So you won't burn out one teacher. Of course, if you can get a letter of recommendation from your administrator, your grade level administrator, that will be great, especially if they know you. Then the other recommendation you want to get is a community service recommender. A person who has seen you in action and service, and that their letter will speak to your service. Then the other one is a personal one. Now, when I say personal, I'm not talking about somebody who is blood relation. Anybody can write you a letter of recommendation, but they cannot be a blood relation. So they can be a person who has been your mentor. They can also be a person you have worked for or worked with. They could be someone you've done research for. They could be the babysitter, the parents of the children you babysat. Anybody who has seen you grow and develop over a course of time, that's a powerful letter of recommendation. So you want the academic, anybody relating to and can attest to how you are in a academic setting. And of course that includes coaches and all of those extracurricular, everything that happens at that school. All right? Then
what about extracurricular? Like you were talking about basketball.
I lump that in with school.
Okay.
Because that happens, and of course we have these AU teams and all of that. I lump all of that in the course of the time that you're in school. Okay. Then you have your community service. Sometimes that can be school too, because you are engaging in community service with organizations on your campus. But you're also engaging with organizations at your church, at your parents' job, on your own personal job, and community service that you created yourself, right? And then you have that personal. It's that mentor. It's the person who's hired you to do whatever. It's your godparent if they're not blood relation to you, right? And then, of course, when you get to college, or unless you are doing some research now, you can get the person who has been the leader of that research. Because when you have a variety of letters of recommendations, that shows that you are a multifaceted type of child, and that more people than your parents are saying good things about you. Right? And when you can demonstrate that, and that letter is not generic, they're saying that you show leadership by doing X, Y, Z. They're saying that you came back from adversity. I saw them not give up. And they could have, because this happened. When a recommender can say that in a letter, because let me tell you why we need to definitely make sure we have good letters of recommendations. Sometimes organizations have two absolutely amazing candidates. The next piece of documentation is a part of that application. They go to that letter of recommendation.
That's like the tiebreaker.
What are other people saying about you? Is it compelling? Is it engaging? Do they know you, or is it generic? Right? So that is a part of the story. That is a part of the package. So when you are communicating with those who you want to be on your team, then make sure it is people who care about you, care about your family, and want to see your child win. That's the bottom line there. Okay. All right. So, portfolio, scholarship portfolio. Your personal statement bio, your awards, honors, your community service, your extracurricular, your resume, recommendations, your transcripts, right? Now, there is one other piece to that. Well, it's another piece, but we'll talk about this. It's the heart and soul of your scholarship application, and that is your essay. Okay? Now, every one of our daughters' dollars have been essay written competitions. A lot of my clients say, oh, we fill out a lot of no essay type scholarships. Well, we spent a lot and wasted a lot of time on those initially, and our daughter never won any of those. Most of those were just to send us spam.
Oh, okay.
Every one of our daughters' dollars have been based off of a submission to a scholarship committee that is reviewing documents. So I caution people to stay away from the time consuming of scholarship, no essay scholarships, because it's like the lottery. Somebody's going to win, but it's like the lottery. And so you don't want to put all of your time and effort in applying for no essay type scholarships. So when I get a client that calls me and says, we've applied to hundreds of scholarships and haven't won anything, and I would say, I need to see your child's essays. And then that's when I found out majority of them have been no essay.
Yes.
Okay, but then when they're not, I want to see your child's essays. Because an essay is the heart and soul of a scholarship application. So when you have your scholarship portfolio done, that frees you up to write an engaging, inviting, professional essay, right? So, in my Formula for Success community, once we have that initial consultation and people decide that they want to come on board and purchase a subscription, that's one of the lessons that I have during my status check meetings once a month. I'm showing them, because my background is English, showing them how to help their children craft a compelling, engaging, winning essay.
Can that essay be used multiple times for multiple scholarships?
Yes. So there are, over the time, I started seeing reoccurring essay topics. And I pinned 5 for our personal daughter. And I charged her to write those. Essay number 1, which she has used over and over, minor tweaks, is, why do you deserve the scholarship? Why should we give you this money? And if we give you this money and you get your degree, how are you going to continue impacting your community? So what I started doing was, every way that they ever asked that question, I made that template. I said, because my daughter was like, oh my God, I have to write another essay. I was like, no, you don't. That's essay number 5. They just ask it a different way, right? So what I charged my daughter to do was write the top 5 essays in a 500-word count. Because most scholarships want some want a 250-word count, 500, 750, no more than 800, max 1,000. We've seen a few 1,500, very few, but those were writing type scholarships, right? But when you have a 500 well-written, polished essay, 500 word, well written, if they ask for a 250, all you need to do is cut it down. If they ask for a 750, that's another reason why I started adding all the ways that they ask that question, because it's a way that you can extend your essay by answering an additional question within the essay. Okay, so number 1 is the why do you deserve the scholarship. Number 2 is the challenge and adversity. What challenges, what adversity you've had. The thing that I recommend and I teach, you cannot stay in the valley with that essay. Scholarship committees want to see grit, perseverance, diligence. They want to read a story of victory. So if you stay in the woe is me, you will not win that scholarship.
Okay, so what about, and I'm not saying this is the case for everyone, but you stated that there are scholarships for just about every economic status. So maybe you're higher up, you're upper middle class, maybe the kids haven't went through.
Yes, they have.
You feel like every child, regardless if they have a 2-parent home.
For example, I'll give you an example that you can speak on.
Okay.
My parents have thrown everything at me, but have not given me any love, time, and attention.
Yeah.
I have the whole 2nd floor to myself. I haven't seen my parents in 2 weeks, but I have a bank account.
Ooh. That sounds horrible.
Yes, it does. Hello. There's your adversity and your challenge.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Next.
Absolutely. Okay, continue on.
And I've worked with all those over 30 years.
Yes.
I've seen all of it. All of it. Okay. Don't stay in the ditch on essay number 2. Okay. Then essay number 3 is the personal statement. Tell us about yourself. What makes you unique? Right? Essay number 4 is about community service. What impact do you continue making? What impact are you making right now? Okay? What impact will you make in the future once you get your degree? Right? How are you going to continue being concerned about your community? All right, and then number 5 is that career aspirations. Why do you want to be what you want to be? Where is the passion? Where did it come from? So, One of the ways that my daughter worked smarter with creating those essays in those, pre-AP classes in junior high, in the pre-AP when you freshman, and then AP, then dual credit, all of that. Well, if you ever have an open topic for any class, even those history classes, even science, if they have you write a paper and it's an open topic and you can pick it, well, pick one of those topics to write about so you can get that professional English teacher to score it.
You better stop, Lisa.
Yes.
You better stop.
Yes.
What?
And then I want to see the rubric. How did the teacher score it? Right? And then once your child wins, because our child has won a scholarship for all top 5 of her essays, right? When she won that first scholarship, I'm an educator. I completely dissected that application. I wanted to know why. Why did they select you? So now that we're over $100,000 in, we've dissected a lot of applications and we saw a lot of reoccurring themes. So you replicate your win. And the number one thing that we saw was how she began her essays.
And how was that?
And I'm going to tell you. I'm glad you asked. The most winningest winning essays that our daughter has won is when she used a method that I call open with a power memory. Okay? So, for example, the essay number 5. Now, she could open up with, I want to be a doctor. No, those types of essays don't win. Open up with when you knew in your heart and tell the story.
You got to give them the visual.
You have to package. They need to be reading. You want that organization to want to continue reading. And if you open up, I want to be a doctor, next. If you open up just regurgitating the prompt, next. You want to open up with a power memory about that and tell the story. Right? And there are a lot of other tools that I teach on that. I would love for anyone to reach out and schedule a consultation so I can show them the other ways that we have opened up our daughter's essays. But the most winning scholarship essays have been power memory openers.
When applying for scholarships, because there's so many out there, especially with the internet,
It's a lot.
do you pay to apply for scholarships?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. You never pay to apply for a scholarship. You never put information such as bank accounts, social security numbers. None of that should ever be asked. And if they do, you don't apply for that. No one should be charging you a fee to apply for a scholarship. If it is, that's their fundraiser. That's not your scholarship, okay? That's a fundraiser for the organization. And they've just disguised it as a scholarship. Scholarships, true scholarships, do not require a fee, nor do they ask you for your personal information such as bank account numbers, credit card information, social security, birth certificate, driver's license. If they ask that, that's a red flag. Please do not apply for those types of scholarships. Those are scams.
Okay.
And they're dangerous scams.
It sounds like it. Since you're saying it out loud, it absolutely sounds like it. What do scholarships pay for? So you've done the work. We've partnered with Lisa. We receive the scholarships. What do they pay for?
Every and anything.
Really?
Yes. Now, there are some scholarships that only say it's for tuition. Some say it's only for books. Some say it's only for technology. But the majority of our dollar scholarships is for anything related to her schooling. So, for example, there are scholarships for study abroad.
Really?
Yes, our daughter will be going to study abroad off of scholarship money.
Wow.
Yes. There are scholarships for that. So scholarships can pay for anything. Most of them, they cover the gamut of whatever, but then there are some that are specific, say it has to be for this. There are some that say it's only for first semester, because most universities divide the check for the fall and the spring. But our daughter has received a few that they wanted it all spent fall or all spent spring.
Do you tell that to the financial aid person at the college?
No, it's on the award letter.
Okay.
So what we do is when our daughter gets her award letters, we send all of her award letters to her scholarship representative on her campus. I call the scholarship office every Friday.
For what?
Well, let me tell you, because our daughter has won 6 scholarships. Her veil is paid. So I'm trying, because on her printout, it says corporate, it says sorority, it says church, or something like that. It doesn't tell me the name of the organization. So and then it just puts a total. Like if she won 5 church scholarships, well, I need to know which church has been submitted. That's how we keep our record keeping. So I call every Friday and I talk to my daughter's representative.
You should be on a first name basis.
We are. She doesn't even ask me for my daughter's ID anymore. We are. And sometimes she says, these are scholarships coming in, because she knows I'm going to call her. So I want them by name, because I am keeping account of what we're still waiting on, right? And then I got to do the checks and balance on it. Okay, because of course my husband is asking, okay, where are we on scholarships? What has hit her book? And I'm like, okay, we're waiting on $22,000. Mm-hmm. Right? So right now, these just came in. So we just got another 17 grand that hit. So I'm calling every Friday to check on the status of incoming scholarship wins.
And do you follow up with the organization that has given you the scholarship, or you just wait and see?
No. So when the scholarship organization sends that says, congratulations, you won, then we go ahead and submit what they've requested. But our daughter also sends a formal thank you. Now, some scholarships want you to make a video so that that is a part of their fundraiser for the next year to show that they've given. Okay, there are those. Then there are those that, of course, we send a thank you to every organization. It is automatic. Once we get their mailing address, it's automatic. They get a formal in the mail thank you.
Is this you receive the scholarship, you give the thank you. What about if you don't receive? Do you give the thank you?
No.
Okay.
For the no, when we get that, we've gotten a lot of those too. Sorry, but you're not our winner. We do respond to those in an email, to just thank them for reviewing our daughter's document, because they've said, please apply again. Because this is the thing. Your child can't win every scholarship they apply for, but they can't lose every one either, right? Yes. The only one they lose is the one that they don't submit. So most of those that says, we regret to inform you, we respond to those, thanks for the encouragement, thanks for having an organization that is offering a scholarship, and we will be applying again next year. So we believe that you apply for a scholarship until you win or you're no longer eligible. Because everybody can't win every year, because they're only giving out so many applications. So many scholarships. So if a scholarship is offered from kindergarten all the way through graduate school, our daughter will be applying until she wins or she's no longer eligible.
And most people would stop after that first attempt. Mm-hmm. When you try, they said no, we move on to the next.
No. In the organizational tools that I share with my clients, shows them how you can do that very quickly every year. Right? No. Our daughter has won scholarships that she didn't win the first time, second time, or third time. but she wanted the 4th time or the 6th time.
You don't give up, do you?
No, we do not. We will not leave any money on the table. And it is when people call and say, we've been doing, the first thing I say is, please don't give up. If we would have given up freshman year, we would not be sitting at our daughter being able to pay in full freshman year, sophomore year, and already have money on the book for junior year if we would have given up because of all of those. We regret to inform you, but we did not select your child. That was like fuel to the fire. Oh, somebody go. Everybody come in here. That was fuel to the fire. What? Everybody get busy. And so you have to have a ringleader in your house. Who will be your ringleader? I happen to be the ringleader in my house.
Yes.
And you have to, I would have clients, it's the husband, it's the grandmother, it's the child. You have to have a ringleader that says nobody's going to bed. We don't have any obligations, and we're going to fall out at this table.
You are so passionate. Like, I can feel the passion. I can feel the energy coming from you about this topic. And I feel like I know the answer to this next question, but I'm asking anyway for my listeners and my viewers. What is your personal intention in this scholarship space and helping other people? Like you're doing it with your own child, but other people's children. What is your intention?
I don't think our children should be graduating with $200,000 in debt to where they cannot even begin their lives because there is a chokehold on their finances. So, just being in the business of education for 30 years, I have a heart for not only my child, but for other people's children. Just because I retired, that doesn't mean I'm finished with having a heart for other people's children. And so now, okay, I know something. I figured out something. It's working. Please listen. I don't know everything. I don't. I promise you, every day we are learning something new. With every rejection, with every win, we're learning something new. And if there is something that I know, I'm not going to have amnesia. I have a very good memory, and I'm going to share it with those that will listen. Well, who I really wish would listen to me right now are our K-8 mamas. They think that they have time.
Yeah, because they're in elementary.
It's a blink of an eye. My child was in 1st grade yesterday. With every experience that you are providing for your children, you can be documenting that along the way. And you don't have to be trying to get all these things together 2nd semester senior year. And you can start as a family. So for example, I posted one that was for 5th graders, and the essay topic was what makes your mother special.
Oh, so sweet.
There is one for K through 12th grade, and it's offered by Google, and it's called Doodle, where you create, and it's broken down. When they have the K-12, it's broken down in categories. So like the kindergarten and 1st graders are competing. However they have it broke down, but that's just for example. You're creating a childlike logo for Google. That's the competition. So imagine the bragging rights on your resume that you're creating as a 5-year-old that you can add that you were runner-up in the Google competition.
Yes. Yes.
So that's how you build a resume too. Another one was make a poison control poster, because it was by the CDC, about how you can make your home safe from poison. That was a K-8 one, I believe. I texted that to everybody that was in my phone. And I put in there, you do not have to wait until your child is in high school to begin getting your feet wet. And I know people are so tired of me saying that, but I really wish that my K-8 mamas would listen and stop and look at some of these, because I posted on my social media as well, and look at them. And I put everything you need to do. Here's the link. Click on it. It's do so-and-so, so-and-so. Get your feet wet with this one. Make it a family project. Talk to your child about what is a scholarship, what is a competition. If you win, this is going to be applied to you wanting to be an astronaut, you wanting to be a chef, whatever their dream is right then, because we know it changes. But having those conversations. So, for example, I was just at an event where the children were at a aviation museum. So I posted, because I was there talking about scholarships. So I posted and said, when you get home tonight after this event, catalog those pictures. Ask your child how they felt when they experienced this. Name the picture, right? Because you can later use those types of experiences as fodder to build a robust scholarship submission. So, for example, my daughter went to Andrew Young's Emerging Leader Institute last summer. And Mr. Andrew Young himself was in the room. Now, because I'm nowhere to take pictures, snippets of videos, nothing. All of that I used to do when my child lived in this house, I'm nowhere. So my child has to do that, and her friends have to do that. So she sent me, I told her, I said, you understand who that is, right?
Yeah.
She said, of course I do. I said, okay. Well, you need to get a picture with Mr. Young, okay? So her next winning scholarship, which was a social advocacy scholarship, the title was Sitting at the Foot of Giants. And her picture was sitting at the foot of Andrew Young.
No. That was
using
perfect.
Experiences. So I created this whole list of artifacts and videos and things that you need to collect along the way for every one of your experiences, because sometimes scholarship organizations allow you to upload ancillary material that support your essay or your submission. It's a formula.
I know public colleges accept scholarships? Do private
Yes,
colleges?
they do. My daughter goes to a private college, and they accept it. Matter of fact, that's all that our daughter has submitted on her toward her degree is outside scholarships. And so, yes, any organization takes a scholarship. If they take the check.
They take the money.
Yes. And I'm going to have to tell you, the first time, because we have this one child, we don't know anything except through her experiences, and now I'm learning it from all of my other clients' experience. I'm learning even more. But we saw on our daughter's printout that she was going to get a scholarship refund because her bill was paid in full.
Okay.
Right? So she calls me, because we don't know how she's going to get that. We see it on her printout. We don't know. We've never done this before, right? So she calls me and she says, Mother, I've been blessed. And I said, oh my goodness, what happened? She said, I got a check in the mail and it has my name on it. They put that check in her school mailbox. And she said, I'm going to Miami for spring break and I have enough money to buy a wardrobe of clothes too. I said, you have lost your mind. Submit that in that bank account that your daddy can see, so we can roll that into your 529. We have 3 more years to pay for it.
Oh.
And so now she's gotten scholarship refund checks every
So you don't have to give that money back.
No, and now let me tell you the difference in this external scholarship and if it's given to the school.
Okay.
If the school gave it to you. Okay, now, the reason why we also love external scholarships is once our daughter has won it, unless the organization states it in their award letter, which we haven't received any like that. So all of her external scholarships, because she did not get any money from her school that she chose. Some schools, a lot of schools, when you get an overage in a scholarship check and the school has given you a scholarship, they reduce school aid.
Okay. That's like a punishment.
Yeah, but you're getting all these outside scholarships. We can reduce that aid. You still have it covered. You're just not getting any extra because now we're going to reallot
To someone else.
that's not doing that.
Okay.
But with our daughter, all of hers are outside and our school has not, she doesn't have any aid from her school. So that's why she gets full refund check, but it's not to go into Miami. There is a time and a place for everything, and it's not a time and place for that.
She can't go to Miami.
No. That money is rolled into her 529. So now she's gotten several refund checks a semester. She has no question about that. She knows, she understands the assignment. That money goes back into a 529, or you can use it for if you need some books. But you don't need no books. You got that. That's going to 529.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And then maybe one day, but this is not the day.
This not today.
It's not today. So she understands that now, but we laugh.
Yes.
I mean, we laugh. We said Miami. No. You can go to Miami, but you're not going with this dog.
This is not the blessing you think.
And to buy a bathing suit, you have lost your mind.
Lisa.
And we're strict about that.
Lisa. Yes.
We're not doing that.
Yes. Yes.
So that's the beauty in an external scholarship.
Okay. You have given so much information, and I really hate to end this podcast.
Is it?
Listen.
Oh my goodness.
It goes by, doesn't it?
Yes, it
Time
does.
flies when you're having fun.
Yes, and I have had a good time because I believe that knowledge is power.
Yes.
I would love for those who see the podcast to follow me on social media. I'm always sharing good tips and tools and strategies and links to scholarships. But I would love to meet with families virtually, set up a formal consultation, and show them the winning examples and how to get themselves organized so that they can support their child's dream of not graduating in debt. People who I'm retired and I have friends who still pay in their school.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It is horrible.
Let's give our children a gift.
That we didn't have. Most likely.
Yes. Let's give our child a gift. And that is a gift of going to school, graduating, and not graduating with debt so that they can have a fighting chance to begin their lives upon graduation.
Absolutely.
Okay? And I can show parents how to do that. I'm not keeping anything secret from any of my clients because there are enough scholarships out here for everyone. My North Carolina, South Carolina clients, there are only scholarships that you can apply if you're residents there. So there are scholarships for you. My Illinois clients, there are scholarships for you. And then, of course, there are national scholarships. Now, of course, those are higher competition. I always say start with local competitions because they have less competition. And, of course, people want to support their community by awarding scholarships to high-achieving, passionate, involved, engaged teams.
And they want to be able to brag and say,
yes,
we helped her, we helped him.
One other thing I want to say before we close out is make sure when your child wins those scholarships that they can, our daughter, she sends an update. She's been sending an update. Matter of fact, it's time for her to send an update to all of the organizations that have awarded her money.
That's a great idea.
Of what she's doing. And then she may send a picture with it. She sends it both ways, electronic and through the mail. And it's just an update. So she has vowed to do that until she reaches her goals.
That's a great idea. Okay, well, Miss Lisa, my goodness, you are everything.
Well, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. I'm so glad that you were able to come.
Yes. So my final question for you. Who do you think would make a great guest on the podcast, but you have to help me get them on?
Well, I'm telling you, I've been sent out texts. I'm going to have to call them. I really do feel I have quite a few friends. I have a veterinarian friend, Dr. Erica Johnson, that I would love. She's an African-American veterinarian here in Katy, that I would love for her to talk with the audience about how you go about navigating your educational career to land a career being a veterinarian. I have another friend that knows everything about education you can imagine, Dr. Lavetta Levels. I would love for her to be on your podcast and to talk about, she can talk about politics, how you can get involved. Of course, she can talk about anything about mentoring up-and-coming administrators in the business of education, because we definitely need that support.
Yes.
I have another friend who is a mental health. Matter of fact, they have two that I sent them a text, and that is Dr. Christy Moore. I would love for her to come and talk about how you can support your children in their mental health at every stage. And then there's also Ashley Anglin, who works in the mental health area, that I would love for her to talk to your audience. Then I have a friend who is Beverly Rudeau, and she has her own garden. She is really involved in girls track. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I think that's it, where she does a lot of the walking and the at Herman Park and at the Arboretum, the trails, and teaching you about how to be healthy and breathe, and also growing your own food. So I really love that. So I'm going to have to get them on the phone. They've all been notified. And there are so many others that I sent either email or text. I have another friend in Arkansas, Marissa Roberts, who can talk to you about how to support your children who have autism or who have ADHD.
I would love that.
That would love to join you virtually to talk about how you can set your children up for success. And she knows, she has the tools to be able to do that. So many, and in those that I've forgotten, that I don't have my list with me, I apologize, but those are just a few off the top of my head that I will make a phone call, since they have not, they did respond to my text. I'm not putting them out there. They have responded to my text, but I know that they're so busy. But I would love for your listening audience to hear from those women, because they are amazing and they have a lot of excellent things to share, to help our families, to help our children, to help our educators. So I would love for any one of those, and those that I have just forgotten to mention, because I can't think of it right now. But I will get back on that for you.
Thank you so. I cannot thank you enough. And I know my listening audience, you have given so much information that I never would have even considered or thought about. Thank you. And thank your friend, the friend that you've been knowing since y'all were 12, who said you need to start sharing.
That is Anissa Randall. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
We talked about, get it out there. You can share. And then, of course, my very good friend, Johnny Bailey, who encouraged me to say, Lisa, you do have something to share. You do have something that somebody wants to listen to. Because I was telling her, I said, girl, don't nobody want to hear none of that. Or also, am I even worthy to what makes me an authority? And then you start second guessing yourself that I'm not even worthy of that. But Johnny Bailey, honey, she prayed that demon right out of my brain, right? And that's another thing, having your circle of friends, and that's one thing I've been very blessed with, a circle of friends who pour into you, and everyone that I've named today, and so many more that have poured into me to say, Lisa, you do have something to share. You do have some information that people will find or deem important. And you do know a few things about how to put together a portfolio and how to support families because of my background in education. But then, of course, we second guess ourselves and our abilities. And that little voice is speaking.
Always working.
Yeah, always. And so to have friends in your circle, in your network that say, yeah, I think you need to probably say something about that. And so that's where we are a year later. And I'm so happy. Now I can't be quiet about it. I've gotten a little obsessive about it now.
I mean, you have so much great information. I'm thankful for the obsession. I am thankful for it. So thank you so much for inviting me into your beautiful home, sitting down with me and sharing. Because most people don't share.
Oh, I know.
They don't share. They keep it to themselves.
Yes,
So
but there is
sharing.
enough for everyone. How can God bless you when your hand is closed?
And that's how we're going to end this podcast.
Yes.
That's how we're going to end it. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, listening, and learning from this podcast. You can get this podcast and all of my other podcasts on YouTube Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. And remember, you always have time to listen and learn on the go.
Come on, let's go on a journey. Sit back, buckle up, enjoy the ride with Crystal Petry. Console.